Hello and welcome to the Burnt Ham Podcast, where we try to entertain you with our limited knowledge of the world. I probably should have learnt that by now, if I'm honest.
On this episode, what will we be discussing? I don't know. I don't know either.
Right,
actually,
this one's a speed run. We've got a speed.
We're speed running the podcast.
Okay, so first, no, never mind. We have got a good topic to start off with.
Do we?
Yeah. How can you boost your self-confidence?
What's an excellent topic?
Well,
Would you like to kick us off?
So, sometimes I struggle with low self-esteem, and been working on myself to improve my self-confidence so I can slay pussy pretty much.
That's the goal.
I'm not going to beat around the bush.
Yeah, but I think everyone struggles with self-confidence at some point in their life. I feel like that's very common, but especially the age group we're in at the moment, where like teenager type years is kind of the worst years, I think, for that kind of thing. And I think a lot of people just are struggling to find themselves.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it.
There's a lot of pressure on young people to be a certain way, act a certain way, and just if you want to be successful in pursuit of love, let's say, you know, coming across as someone who's a bit anxious or shy tends to really...
Yeah, that's seen as a negative thing.
When literally everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people suffer with these sort of feelings. So
social awkwardness, I think.
Yeah. So you're not alone if you feel that way. Do you know that a lot of people do struggle with it? Anyway, let's jump right into it. So my first piece of advice is quite general. Take care of yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go straight into this one. I think like taking care of your health is one of the, and hygiene, like health and hygiene is two of the most important things that everyone should like learn to do when they're a young adult.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You should just find out some kind of showering routine, whatever works for you. Try not to smell. You don't have to wear loads of deodorant or anything like that. Just try not to smell. Make sure you don't have to do your hair all the time. Just brush your teeth. Just simple stuff like that. And then you're accomplishing those little goals every single day. You go, oh, I brushed my teeth today. Oh, maybe I've flossed my teeth. Or and then, of course, you've got the health aspect, which is like mainly eating is one of the easiest things to do, which is very easy to just eat junk food. Yeah. But and that's something that I did myself, especially when I was at like college and stuff like that. I literally ate absolute rubbish.
I think that when I was at sixth form, at break, we used to go to this shop called VG. It's not actually called VG, but that's the nickname for it. And we always went at break and lunch, and at break I made fantastic daily decisions of buying like one of those quid bag of chocolate, which is like 500 calories and half your sugar probably, and then I'd go back at lunchtime and eat like another bag of that plus some other form of buttery and sugary carbohydrates. And whilst it didn't make me overweight and I was a relatively healthy weight, it's really not good for your complexion. And that's something I've struggled a lot with, is coming to terms with my imperfections. I literally don't care now, just because I do what I can about it. So yeah,
it's not your fault as per se. Like to a certain extent, diet can help a lot, but
it does have an influence.
You can stop it just by doing one thing. Like it's not that simple.
No.
But going back to like diet and things like that, I've always been pretty skinny myself, but I've just eaten rubbish, and it's only recently I've been vegan, as I've said before, for maybe like 2-3 months now, and I've noticed a huge benefits just from like my mental well-being and my physical well-being from doing that. That's really helped me personally,
because not only do you feel like happy with the decision you've made if you choose to be healthy, your like brain chemicals don't get buggered up, basically. They don't go nuts. So if you're eating sugar all the time, then you decide to stop eating sugar altogether, you're going to feel like rubbish.
Because you're used to having that instant energy from sugar, but once you kind of start reducing it and start finding a way to have energy without it, which is by eating carbohydrates and things like that. But anyway,
but not
this turned into like kind of a diet discussion, but
it's essential to talk about diet when it comes to self-confidence, in my opinion.
Because for me personally, now that I'm vegan, going back to that, like I feel better about the decisions I make with food, because obviously I'm not hurting animals, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole nother topic. And then, of course, actually, I've got to make... It's not as easy to just... Like, I can't go to McDonald's and just buy a burger. So it kind of forces you to make your own food or find something that's vegan, and that's usually vegetables anyway. So it kind of forces you to be healthier, as long as you're sticking to that kind of group of foods, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that leads quite nicely into money. So spending money at McDonald's gets expensive. If you're going there like a couple of times a week and you spend £6 or so each time, you know, you can be spending £20 a week at McDonald's, say, and that alone isn't going to break your bank, obviously. If you've got a part-time job, I'm sure you'll earn enough to sustain that, but there's also other things that you want to spend your money on. If you like to go to have drinks with your friends at the pub, or if you like to go see films, it all adds up, and you have to be conscious of how you're spending money, because when you're in financial turmoil, that causes problems.
Yeah, that can crush someone. I haven't experienced it myself. I've always been quite careful with money and kind of watch what I'm spending on, but I'm not perfect, and I've spent money on stuff and just completely regretted it. But I think it's very important to make sure that you are looking at what you're spending and just making sure you have money to spend stuff on stuff that you actually enjoy. I think that's really important. You shouldn't just be like, oh, all I can spend my money on is essential stuff, and then never go out, like maybe you don't want to go out. Some people don't want to go out, but maybe you want to spend money on a computer game or something like that. That's really fun.
It takes a very particular person to be completely reserved when it comes to money and spend only completely on essentials. And if it works for you, go for it. If you like doing that, there's no problem. But for the average person, I'd say your best bet is to find a balance between what you need and what you want. You know, don't spend all your excess cash on clothes.
It is a very fine line with spending money on stuff that you enjoy, but not spending too much money on stuff that you enjoy. You just got to find that balance, and I think that's just part of growing up, is just finding out how you want to spend your money.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful not to get addicted to spending money. It sounds silly, but it's a real thing, you know.
Especially, I don't know if you've had this, but when you first get your job, you get all this money, you've got no bills to pay, it's amazing. Yeah. And you can just spend money on whatever you want. So I think everyone, when they first get a part-time job or whatever, or has a first job, just goes, oh, look what I can spend all my money on. And it goes very quickly. You find out really what money is worth when you get a job and you know how many hours it took to earn £100.
Yeah. And what money is worth is something that I'd like to talk about now. So the way you present yourself. If you don't put any effort into how you dress and look, then unless you're again a very particular person who really isn't bothered, you're gonna not feel great about yourself. So you need to find a healthy way to, make yourself feel good about yourself and enjoy the way you look, if you get what I mean. So when I went to London, which was just yesterday, I came back yesterday, but I decided to get some new clothes, including this, and this
attire you're wearing now,
and this actually, and it has really helped me. I know it's only been a day, but I feel really happy wearing this sort of clothing.
That's good. I think myself, I've never known like what my style is, and I feel like a lot of people have this. So I've always just t-shirt and jeans. That's always what I've got. Recently I've been experimenting more with a little bit more kind of patterns and stuff, like this t-shirt's fairly new. It's got a quite nice pattern. I don't know,
nice.
I like it, but
that's the main thing.
But yeah, the main thing is that you like it and you feel good whilst wearing it. But because it's difficult to wear something that maybe is too out there, and then you're out of your comfort zone. You may feel uncomfortable. You feel like, oh, everyone's looking at me wearing this.
And
or sometimes you can just wear just like a hoodie and jeans, and then you feel like, oh, this isn't what I really want to wear, but I don't want to wear what I actually want to wear because you'd rather people don't notice you. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that kind of thing.
It's important to dress to impress, but when I say dress to impress, I mean impress yourself. As long as you think you look good, then you're going to have the confidence in yourself to do what you want to do. If you're an anxious person and you're worried about going wherever, going to the shops even, if you're dressed nicely, you're going to feel better about yourself, which will lead to, you being more comfortable doing these things, because you're not going to be as worried as to what other people think. You'll just be focused on, I'm doing my thing and this is okay,
And I think something to think about is when you're out in public, how much do you really pay attention to what people wear? Because for myself, I really don't take that much notice of what people are wearing. And I'm sure that they aren't paying much attention to what you're wearing. You've got to think of that really most people don't really care what you're wearing. So just wear what you want to, whatever you feel comfortable in, whatever makes you happy, just go for it, I think.
In fact, what I notice most when I'm walking down the high street or whatever is old men trudging along wearing caps like these, and I don't know why, it just makes me laugh to see old men wearing like dad caps. I just think it's sort of cute in an old person way, not me liking old men wearing caps. But really don't hey, anxious people, don't worry. No, it's not as simple as that, clearly, but do try to challenge negative thoughts. That's something that you have to accept if you don't feel confident in yourself. You can't just mope around feeling sorry for yourself. It's easy to do that, and that's why a lot of people that struggle with mental health start out doing that and not tackle it right away. But oh boy, does it get better. It sure does, and it just takes a bit of hard work,
Yeah, it takes a positive attitude.
It does.
To life.
Yeah, you can't fight negativity with more negativity, really. So
unfortunately, you can, it's just one of those things. You can look at the problems in our world and complain about it and say it's everyone else's fault that all these things are happening. Maybe you can't get a girl, you aren't very self-confident or whatever. You can blame it on everyone else, but really the only person that can change it is yourself. And you've got to just go, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
What can I do to try and reduce that?
Yeah.
Don't blame it on other women, or why don't they want to go out with me?
That leads to incels, and that's just not good.
Yeah, you got to go, what can I change about myself? Not necessarily change yourself, but like what we talked about earlier, hygiene, health, that kind of thing. What can I do to improve myself and make myself a better person, per se?
And I think probably the biggest piece of advice I can give about like mental health struggle, this has kind of turned into more of a mental health talk than specifically self-confidence, but it comes down to that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it all rolls into one kind of thing.
So the biggest piece of advice I can give is don't go at it alone. I'm sorry to say, but you cannot, unless you're a very particular sort of person. I've the third time I've said that, but generally you cannot beat these things without talking to people you trust and seeking a counsellor or whatever, whatever works for you. You have to have a look around a bit, and I don't recommend like self-medicating anything because you're not as smart as you think you are. That's another thing. Arrogance. Don't be arrogant.
Yeah, simple as that.
We could go on and on.
Don't be arrogant.
Yeah, it's quite simple. If you're depressed, just be happy.
Yeah, just stop being depressed.
Yeah.
And be happy. It's pretty obvious.
Jeez.
What was the actual question?
It was just how to improve self-confidence. I just want to say before we get back to what you were going to say, that I'm personally, for me, I'm not speaking about this from like a completely objective point of view. I've had these sort of experiences myself, and I've been working on it recently, and it's been really useful. So you can do it.
Yeah, and to echo what you've just said, I've had the exact same things, especially recently in the last year or so.
Oh yeah. Lockdown has hit hard.
Yeah, when we very first went into lockdown, and I basically didn't see any of my friends. I wasn't working. I was just in my room day after day. I didn't know what day it was when I didn't have a sleep schedule. I didn't everything just stopped, and I kind of did go down a bit of a rabbit hole with kind of depression and that sort of thing. I'm not sure if I was depressed, but I was definitely around that kind of area, and that was something that I didn't realize until once I started getting better, and once I started going out, and once I started socializing and kind of trying to improve myself. And I don't know, I kind of lost my trail of thought there,
but you put it quite eloquently.
But I think it's quite difficult to realize that you have a problem.
Definitely.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, it
is. It's very difficult to realize you have a problem, and usually it isn't until you start getting better that you realize how bad of a state you were in. Because at the time I thought I was fine. Like I am quite introverted, so I do like my time to myself. So at the time I was like, oh, look at all this time I get to just be alone, and that's why I'm happy. And that's not why I'm happy. That's where I get a lot of joy from, as sad as it is, but that's just me personally.
Yeah,
I do like
spending
time by myself. just playing computer games, watching TV and films and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't until I started going out and then I realised, oh, this is so much better. Like meeting my friends, getting to just go outside, as sad as it is.
Well, the thing is, when you're with your friends, most of the times that you go to see your friends, what do? You spend a lot of it joking and laughing, physically laughing, as in ha ha ha, that really helps. That's like an actual release of dopamine or serotonin. I'm not sure which brain chemical it is, but trying to emulate that through drinking or smoking weed or taking other drugs, whatever it is really not a healthy way to approach it. I've personally had problems with I drank way too much in my first term of uni, and it kind of kicked off a sort of depression, if I'm honest. But luckily I'm back on top of that, and I've had other problems where I've been using something as a vice to ignore my problems and just not accept the fact that I'm feeling this way and ignore it, as I said. And since kicking the bucket, since packing it in, let's go with, I have felt so much better. My energy has risen. Like my mood, it swings, but that's quite normal to have mood swings. As a teenager, I was never really had mood swings, so I think I've matured quite late. But yeah, it's very important not to use something as a vice.
I think it's quite easy for someone to spiral if they are having problems. And like
100%.
Let's just go with drinking as an example. So, I've had a rubbish day at college, work, whatever. I'll have a few drinks, and maybe you see a few friends and have a few drinks, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wow, that was really fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And then you're out drinking. Then you go out drinking again because it's great. And you get to forget about all the work and whatever that you've been doing previously that is making you sad. But most of the time, it's not the drinking that's really making you feel great. Sometimes it can literally just be seeing friends. And if you take away the alcohol, you can still have a great time, and then you're not going to feel hungover in the morning, blah, blah, blah.
But you do have to accept, if you're in this kind of state, that stopping's going to be difficult, and when you see your friends, you should still have fun, but you're not going to have as much fun as you think you were having before. But after a few weeks, your brain's quite clever and it resets itself, and it's not always a few weeks, it's however long it takes you. But for me it was a few weeks, and it feels good.
Yeah, man. I think we can't be the ones who say don't ever drink again. Don't ever do drugs. I don't ever want to be like that, because it's just so unrealistic.
Yeah, the thing is, at this age, you're young, you're silly, and you like to go and get a bit crazy and just do whatever, but as long as you find a balance for it, where you can, still see your family, you can still maintain your job and still have enough money to, for emergency situations and stuff, and to like maybe invest in your future if you're into that.
And take care of yourself as well. You've got to still be taking care of yourself. You can't have late nights every single night and have like 4 hours sleep, because it will just ruin.
You will feel awful.
Your like mental health again.
Yeah,
going back to that.
But sleep. That's a good thing to mention. Actually, get plenty of sleep. When I was in my crazy phase, I went crazy in the sense that I went out a lot of the time, and I did not get enough sleep, and that it makes you look just ill. You know, it can cause acne. It makes you smell.
What's
it rots your teeth.
like bags and
Yeah,
stuff
you
around
get
your
bags under your eyes.
Yeah, and you kind of turn into a zombie basically, and then that. A lot of these things cross over, so then that's back to how you're presenting yourself, when you look at yourself, kind of your perception of yourself, and then that's gonna change your mental health again. So a lot of these things, kind of, once you get all of them sorted, it was just amazing.
Oh yeah.
But there's so many different things you've got to do, like exercise. That's another one we can go into.
Yeah.
So making sure you find some sort of exercise that you enjoy. Everyone enjoys different stuff. Some people like team sports. Some people like doing stuff by themselves.
The key here is you have to enjoy it. Don't force yourself to do weightlifting if you don't like it, because you're just going to get upset about not seeing the results. Because if you don't like it, you're doing it for results, and results take a long time to come, and it's very hard to commit yourself to like the rest of your life doing something to maintain the body that you want to have. So,
like, I think this is kind of another subject, but a lot of people go, "Oh, I'm overweight now. Let's start running." Because everyone just thinks, oh, that's the best way to lose weight. But then they don't want to go running. Because I hate running.
Yeah.
I cannot stand running.
Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I like, it'll be quite nice to go for a run now. I don't always, if I feel that way. But, you know, don't do running if you don't like it.
If you don't enjoy it, you won't want to do it. And one of the most important things with exercise is making sure you have some kind of routine. Doing a few hours a week for most people is plenty. Doing it over a couple of days. Myself, I really enjoy swimming. I've literally swam since I was really young. That's just something I'm really pleased with myself that I've kept that up.
It's good.
So I still do it now. I go swimming, not as much as what I used to when I was younger, but I still try and swim when I can, and that for me is my exercise, and that makes me feel good that I've accomplished something good.
Yeah, and like when I get back to uni in September, I hope to find a rock climbing society or something. You know, I'm quite interested in the idea of rock climbing. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm quite interested in that as well. I gotta be honest.
Maybe we can discuss it after this. To be honest,
yeah,
I'm sure there's somewhere around here.
Bouldering, that'd be super
does
cool. Really interest me. I gotta be honest.
But you have to have strong fingers.
Yeah, you gotta have like mad grip strength.
Luckily, I've got sausage fingers, so I should be all right.
I got pretty big hands as well. But anyway,
can you use that as the thumbnail? Can we both do that? Right, there we go. You'll have to find it
now
later.
I'm going to try and find that. That's going to be a pain.
Write down it was about 29 minutes in.
Okay.
Brilliant. But yeah, and another misconception about exercise, I think, is when people say they want to do something to better themselves, they don't look at it as a permanent commitment, because there's no such thing really as getting fit. It's more staying fit.
I completely agree with what you've just said. I think a lot of people go, oh, if you're overweight, trying to become a healthy weight, a lot of people think, oh, let's go really hard. They're really motivated at the start. They'll do a lot of exercise, which is great, but they just won't be able to keep it up, and then so they'll lose all this weight and then be really excited about it, and then they'll plateau, and usually excuse me, and then they'll struggle to then keep at the weight that they've got to, or keep reducing weight depending on where they are. And I think it's really important to find back again to something you enjoy, so then you keep it up, and then making sure you match that with a balanced diet to make sure you're not putting on weight then once you've found the amount that you want to do of that particular exercise.
So, to wrap this whole discussion up, because I don't really think I have much more to say, the key is to find a balance of things. Don't go to extreme one way or the other. Don't only, unless it works for you, obviously, but as I said, it takes a very particular person. So, if you want to feel better about like how your body is, you have to accept the way you are, and then you got to find something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. I mean, it's not necessarily that dramatic.
Not necessarily for the rest of your life, but
you can change it up, obviously. Variety is the spice of life. So,
I think it's fine. It's so difficult, but it's all these topics that we've just discussed. You've got to find stuff you enjoy, stuff that you like within that. Find out how far you want to go with everything. Like, certain people focus a lot of time and energy into their personal style. Some people love sport and they'll just go all out in sports. And some people but for a lot of people, they just want to do little bits of everything. And that, I think, is finding out how much of everything you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you've got to try different things, and you're not going to get it right the first time.
No, and that's just why growing up's so hard, I think.
Yeah,
because you don't know the answers to a lot of the questions that you have about yourself.
But boy, do you think you do.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You go, well, I don't know what sport I want to do. I don't know what food I want to have. I don't know how often I need to have a shower, and all these questions, and you just got to find out what works for you. And for certain people, they pick it up straight away. Some people just find a sport that they really like when they're like 5, and then that's great. That was for me. I swam since I was little, so I'd never have to worry about that, really.
And the idea is, don't take the easy route. So the easy route for exercise is, I'll go running, everyone goes running. The easy route for weight loss is, I'll go on a no carb diet and be tired all the time. Like, don't do these things. Find something that works for you. Everyone is different.
Everyone needs their own personal plan
for
their life, and it's very hard to find. I haven't found it myself. I'm not fully...
Oh God, no, nor have I.
I don't think maybe it's not even possible.
Not for everyone,
You've got to try and get as close as you can to making yourself happy.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to make other people happy once you're happy with yourself.
Oh, final little point. Don't compare yourself to others. Like, if you idolize Elon Musk, first of all, don't. He's a bit of a knob. And second of all, you're not in his shoes. That you don't have the life that he had and the predispositions that Elon Musk had, Look at yourself and only yourself, and that's how you get better at being you. I think that kind of is all we can say at the moment.
Yeah, it's such a huge topic, and
I mean, we did talk for 35 minutes about it.
And I've kind of exhausted as much as I can possibly say, but
we didn't repeat ourselves very much though.
No, but just echoing what we've just spoke about, it's not an easy thing.
No, not easy at all.
Not even easy to talk about. You can say, I'm going to do this, and then sometimes you never do it.
Yeah.
Easier said than done most of the time. Like, we're here chatting about how great it is to sort your life out,
I'm still sorting it
but
out.
I'm still sorting it out as well. We're not perfect either.
You got to live with these feelings. There's a book I'd recommend. It's like a short comic. If you have feelings of depression, then I recommend reading. I think it's called Black Dog. Search up like Black Dog depression book on Google, and you'll find all these things through that. You know, these I think are the basis for dealing with, I'd say, depression. I can't really speak for anxiety. I'm not a particularly anxious person, but depressive thoughts, I think are kind of covered by our discussion. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but we're not PhDs, so
yeah, unfortunately,
we can only give our perspective.
Take what we've just said with a pinch of salt, of course. We may have misspoken with some stuff that we've talked about, but I think a lot of it is just finding out. I'm just going to repeat myself again. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah.
What can we have? What's our next topic of discussion? Do we have a quick 5-minute?
I think that's a good idea.
Quick 5-minute thing?
I do, but can I just recommend some albums first?
Go for it.
So, if you're the kind of person who likes old 90s indie music, I'd strongly recommend the following albums. 1 second. Listen to the following by 9 Inch Nails. These are industrial mixed with indie, mixed with kind of bit of metal sounds. So Pretty Hate Machine, The Downward Spiral, and With Teeth. Those are all pretty cool albums I listened to whilst walking around London. They're very cathartic. A bit the same but still different. So Nick Cave in Grinderman 1 and 2, and then moving on to some parody music. 12 Greatest Country Hits, I think it's called, or 12 Golden Country. It's an album by Ween, and basically they're just taking the mick out of country music because it sucks. And yeah, that's it for the albums. Right, let's move on to the PC part market inflation.
Oh yes,
this will be a nice one to round off with.
I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to computers. Not huge.
I used to be a massive nerd about computers.
Yeah, obviously watch a lot of YouTube orientated around PCs and that kind of thing. Lioness Tech Tips.
Speaking of Honey, the free browser extension.
Yeah, so I built a computer about a year ago now.
It's great fun.
So, and to anyone that's interested in getting a new computer, I would highly recommend building your own, because it's frustrating. It's a ball ache, but it's so rewarding.
There is a cathartic.
You'll learn so much from doing it. I think everyone should build a computer.
Sure, bro.
Yeah, man.
I built a computer when I was about 14 because I was really excited. I had enough money to get myself a gaming PC. So I was like, should I buy one new or should I build it? To my friends who knew a bit more about it than me. And
build it. That's basically the response.
That's basically what he said, yeah. So I did, and with a bit of blood, sweat and tears, I got it built, and it was nice, you know. Had just this machine.
Cross your fingers and cross your heart if you want to. When you press the on button for the first time, it is the most intense moment of your life. But when everything lights up and starts working, it is orgasmic.
Oh god, yeah.
The best feeling ever is turning on a computer that you've just built for the first time and it works and you're like, wow. If it doesn't work, you will be in tears.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh my god.
But most of the time it's literally just like not plugging in a cable to the right place and stuff like that.
You get really angry and then you realise, oh, it was a quick fix and I didn't need to get that angry.
But with that, like, sometimes just hopefully you know someone who knows a little bit more about it, and then you can just be like, yo, I tried making this, it didn't
Help.
work, help me. And then sometimes they'd be like, oh, just put that in there, and
Yeah,
then
like,
it'll work. Sometimes it's literally so simple.
Like you haven't connected your hard drive properly or whatever, you know. Could be something just small like that.
But enough of help with building your first computer.
Why are PC parts so goddamn expensive?
Yeah, so George recently said to me that he wants to build a computer. So
It's been delayed, by the way.
yeah, so I didn't watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips, but I have watched a few more videos, and I found out how expensive like graphics cards at the moment are.
Oh yeah.
And it's pretty crazy at the moment, so I feel bad for you, George.
That's why I'm waiting, and also because I did just spend a lot of money in London. But no, in fact, when I last built my computer, it was coincidentally at the time where graphics cards and parts were all expensive, and it comes down to Bitcoin and crypto mining. I'm pretty sure
cryptocurrency,
which
with all those
is crazy.
bloody miners.
Lend your GPU and CPU to a blockchain so that you can be part of someone's transaction. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm pretty sure the fee you have to pay when you buy and sell cryptocurrencies is distributed to all the miners. I don't know. I'm not sure how it works. Because it's not like...
I'm pretty sure. So basically, you build a supercomputer, and then it basically has to find huge prime number. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, I was completely wrong.
The next biggest prime number, and then somehow they use that prime number to make a certain code, and then that
like the code that can't be repeated or
something like that,
yeah.
and then that makes the currency. I could be completely wrong, but from the vague depths of my mind, I feel like that's what happens.
I think that's much more likely than my explanation.
And so but basically years ago, like when we were little, you could literally do it with a gaming computer, but now the numbers are so huge and it takes so much processing power, you need supercomputers now. So all these bloody people are buying up all the GPUs, and now I can't get a new graphics card for my gaming computer. Basically.
Yeah. And even like when we were in secondary school in about year 10 and 11, when Bitcoin went up to 18 grand-ish and then dipped down again, but we don't care. You could still do it using a gaming PC then. People did.
Yeah,
but
because I had some guy that was trying to talk to me about it when I was in secondary school, and I was like, who is this? I don't think I was really into computers at the time. I thought it's some really nerdy random kid. It's not the same person. You don't know him, by the way.
Oh.
So just... I don't know.
Well, we've both had,
but anyway, I had experiences with that, and I was thinking, yeah, all right, mate. And now looking back on it now, if I listened to him, I'd literally have so much money right now. It's actually so funny. But then I didn't know anything about it, and I'm a strong believer of not putting money where you don't understand. Like, I still haven't bought cryptocurrency myself because I still don't really understand it.
No, it's elusive, if I'm honest. Right. I'm going to have to... Yeah, left, centre, up, down. We're going to have to call it a day there.
Yeah, that... Maybe there'll be another part to this episode. Maybe there won't.
I hope so. Well, if there is a part 2, we can talk about what the best drugs to cover up your feelings are, the best techniques for feeling terrible about yourself,
how to pick up women.
Yeah.
We're experts at that.
Yeah, and how to be an arrogant douchebag, like someone who would wear the hat like this. Anyway, I think that's...
Thank you for listening. This has been a different discussion.
I've really enjoyed it.
Hopefully people at home have enjoyed it too.
I hope it makes some of you listeners feel a bit less isolated, and knowing that other people have problems like you do really helps. Okay, we're going to end it there. Goodbye.
Goodbye.